What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and this is Criminal Minds, Season 12, Episode 13, Spencer. So this is the episode that I've been secretly dreading, but also really looking forward to because, last season there was an episode called Derek, and it was amazing. So, of course, going into this, knew it was all going to be about Spencer, knew it was going to be something about going to Houston for whatever reason, because that's how the episode before ended. And looking on IMDb, it's rated an 8.2, which is actually very rare for Criminal Minds. Like, it's interesting. Looking at some other shows, like Supergirl, if there's ever an episode that's below an 8.0, I know it's god-awful, because most of the time it gets above an 8.0, even if I think it's terrible. For some reason, the critics are still rating it very highly. I don't know why. For Criminal Minds, even when an episode is average or good, it'll get like a 7.5 or maybe a 7.4, somewhere in the mid sevens. But when it's a really good episode, it gets like an 8 point something, or 8.5, something like that. So this one got an 8.2. I was like, ooh, this one's got to be really good. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see it. And as I'm done watching it, I'm like, why though? I don't know. It's strange because it didn't really feel much like a Criminal Minds episode. Let's be honest, what happened? We see Spencer is driving after somebody in the desert, he gets arrested, he ends up in a Mexican jail, the team goes down, tries to figure out what happened. They find out that apparently the woman that was killed was also an American citizen, so the dual citizenship means that they get custody of Spencer, and that's about it. We didn't really learn. We learned that there were other prints in the room, which supports a third person in the room theory. But we didn't really learn anything about the vials. We didn't learn anything about why Spencer was out in the desert, why he had all the drugs planted in the car. We didn't really learn anything about the actual case itself. It was mainly just about Spencer kind of coming out of this drug high as he's remembering stuff slowly, and then them trying to make sure that they get Spencer back to the U.S. because in Mexico, these cops are so fixed on they want to get this guy convicted for killing a Mexican citizen. So, that was pretty much it. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Some of it was interesting, like seeing Spencer go through this. I think Matthew Gray Googler, he's shown before that he has kind of a range that he can play, and so seeing him act like just completely. That whoever drugged Spencer also like put heroin and cocaine in his system. So clearly he's got to be really out of it. And he did a very good job of portraying that. So the acting was really good all around, except for Walker again. But I think that's normal for that guy. I'm coming to expect that out of him. But the acting all around was really good. The cinematography on some of it, seeing Spencer just sort of see all this stuff, like the light is. He's really focused on it because he's remembering back to that time when he was drugged by that one guy who, kept him and kidnapped him. So that stuff was interesting. The stuff with Spencer's interesting, but I don't really know if it was that great. I don't know. It feels like they could have done so much more. It feels like maybe we could have figured out Mr. Scratch was behind it in this episode, and the next episode is going to be them trying to catch him or trying to track him down, trying to figure out what his plan is. Maybe he's trying to kill Spencer's mom or something along those lines. It just seems so uneventful. Like it didn't feel like Criminal Minds. There was a killing, obviously, but who knows if it's Mr. Scratch? There's no serial killer aspect to this. It's just Spencer gets arrested, they go get him out of Mexican jail, bring him back home, and that's about it. So I don't know, it was bizarre for me because I went in expecting like this really intense, awesome episode and got just an average episode that didn't even really feel like Criminal Minds. So, a couple things just going into the next episode. Obviously, this feels like it's going to be a two-parter almost, where we have this episode and then the next episode will be them trying to prove Reed's innocence because the FBI apparently is not going to give him a defense, which means they're gonna have to do it all on their own. But that was one of the interesting things, seeing that the FBI said no, we're not going to. The other thing is why they're doing that, because he was apparently crossing over the border without using his FBI license, which means he wasn't reporting to the FBI, he wasn't giving them the proper information, which means that he was pretty much breaking the rules for the FBI. So there's a chance that after all this is said and done, Spencer may not be an FBI agent anymore. And that concerns me because we just added a member of the team that is just a monotone, lifeless robot. And we're going to take away one of the more interesting members of the team. And Spencer, I don't want that to happen. I think if they get rid of Spencer, you've already lost Derek, you've already lost Hotch. You lose Spencer, what do you have? JJ's still interesting. Prentice, she's been off and on this season. Rossi's always one that just, I don't know. I have a soft spot for Rossi. He's kind of older, but still got that badass tone to him. But then Tara has not been that interesting recently. She was a couple times here and there, but for the most part, she's not incredibly interesting. Luke, who really knows much about him, he just sort of popped up into the team, and okay, so he's just on the team now. He's not bad, but just not really memorable. And then obviously I've talked about Walker. So I just feel like you can't get rid of Spencer. If you lose him on the team, if you lose having him on the show, you're gonna lose your show. I'm sorry, but this could be the last season for Criminal Minds if they decide to do this. The other thing, I guess, just to mention, apparently they brought two of the members of Criminal Minds Beyond Borders. I was just like, all of a sudden they walk in and just like, look who we brought, and I'm like, who are they again? Why am I supposed to know them? And then it clicked. I'm like, oh yeah, that other show that nobody probably watches. I mean, does anybody who, if you watch my reviews, which is probably very few people, and if you also watch Criminal Minds, does anybody actually watch Beyond Borders? I'm interested to know, because I have not heard anything about it. Like, I've not heard anything good or bad about it. I just haven't heard anything about it. So, curious to see if that show even has any viewers. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. Overall, like I said, uneventful. Could have been a lot better. Could have been more interesting. A little disappointed by it, to be honest. But we'll see where it's going. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Criminal Minds, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.